around here, not today. All thoughts of a relaxing Sunday are on hold for players, management and fans of Munster for at least the next hour and a half. The roast is put back because today is a day of destiny for the Munstermen. Yes, it's a place they've been before on many occasions, but the difference today is that the comfort blankets previously carried on the backs of O'Gara, O'Connell et al. Are no longer there. There are, of course, a few of the familiar names still in situ. You look at Donnachar O'Callaghan, Keith Earls, but it's the new spine that has to be strong of thought, mind and body this afternoon. The spotlight will no doubt be strongest on Ian Keatley and his half-back partner Conor Murray. Clear heads needed to pull the right strings at the right time there. But also look to the pack, to Mike Sherry at hooker, who passed a fitness test on Friday, to the breakaway trio of O'Donnell, Corlin and O'Mahony to set the table for the ammunition in the back line to fire. The sizzle of Zebo, the experience and nous of Howlett, the counter-attacking thrust of Felix Jones, all have to be utilised at the right time this afternoon. For the visitors, well, Racing Metro, understandably, with only pride to play for, though mathematically they can still make the pod for the Amlin quarter-finals. They make 13 changes to the side who were sarried in Nantes last weekend. There's still half a dozen internationals in that starting lineup. The most notable and familiar, probably, Ollie Barclay, returning to the 10 shirt for the Parisians. He has a mixed backline around him, the youth of Berly, Dumoulin and Janet, contrasted by the experience of Bombo and Boussess. It's a tough, powerful, tight five, plenty of bulk there. The team again led by former Springbok Jacques Cronje. Racing have another 6 internationals on their bench, should they so choose. 20-year-old JJ Hanrahan on the other side is an emerging talent for club and country. How he would love to get the chance to show his stuff on this platform this afternoon. So Leinster have put the marker out. Munster know what they need. It's a bonus point win with at least 4 tries. But this has to be a step-by-step journey to the quarterfinals, Frankie. Who knows what mindset, what barrier those Parisians there will provide today.
Well, that's it. I mean, a lot of people spoke about how Exeter might just roll over last night, but you saw the way that they took Leinster on, and that's exactly what Racing need to do here, because if Racing, for a moment, just fold in this game, I can tell you something, Munster will run away. And all these guys have a lot of pride at stake, and especially for a really rich club like Racing, there are serious players on this team.
Of course, it's not only their pride they may be playing off, it may be their livelihoods, because as we know, there's new coaches coming into Racing Metro, the two Laurence, Labitte and Travers coming in from Cash. So players out there this afternoon may be playing for their contracts for next season. They've got to take this chance to show what they can do.
They certainly need to do that, and you see the likes of Ollie Barclay there coming out. I mean, he's a quality player, and there's the man there on Bova, well known here for Munster because he's the man who scored that try with the foot in touch in the 2006 Heineken Cup final. So a very familiar face around this place, but extremely dangerous player as well.
Not that it's stuck in your memory for any reason at all, of course. Well, there's Dougie Howlett about to lead out a Munster team that knows what they've got to do. The schedule for this weekend has really favoured the Reds. They know what's needed. Have they got what it takes is the big question.
Of course they do. I think it hasn't suited in recent weeks. The weather that Munster have been trying to play a game, the climate is absolutely fantastic today.
Let's just take a listen to this reception now.
It's obviously going to be a huge game for him. Ronan O'Gara missing great opportunity for him, and he needs to control this game. He needs to get those forwards on the front foot. And just going back to the weather again, it is absolutely bitterly cold out here, but it is perfect weather for a nice open game of rugby. Well,
there's Wayne Barnes. He's going to be the man in the middle. There's 26,000 here have come to worship at this rugby cathedral. Over the years, they've come to expect success, but the blips have begun to riddle their mindset. Leicester Harlequins, Ulster have all won big matches here. It's provoked a few question marks and a little uncertainty consequently. Today, Thomond Park has to unite and reinforce their team. Just listen to that roar as Ian Keatley gets things underway. Well, you can see how urgent it's going to be around the contact area, and that's good sight for the home fans, in particular former Munster favourites Keith Wood, Alan Quinlan during the week in their columns saying the confidence is down, the urgency is not there, the intensity isn't there for 80 minutes. There's no chance for resting or relaxing this afternoon. Keatley hangs on high. And it's too much for Gaëtan Germain, the Racing fullback. So important to get a good, solid start, to get the rhythm into their play. Racing have been playing well of recent, it has to be said, but you have to wonder what a dent to their psychological strength was made last week in Nantes when they scored those 3 early tries, and yet A, didn't get the bonus point, and B, lost the match to Saracens.
Well, that was a cracking game of rugby, wasn't it, last week, and a good start for Munster, and a good start for Ian Keatley as well. Doing extremely well, doing exactly what the crowd would have wanted, throwing up that massive Gary Owen there and putting the pressure on Germain, and the crowd love that as he fumbles it. And this is it, you hear the crowd just roaring again, making that decision. That was a very big decision. They got a kick for the corner every time here, and now look what's after happening here. Now that's exactly the type of mistake we said that they shouldn't do.
Well, your mind goes back to that game in round 1 when Ian Keatley came on for Ronan O'Gara after 30-odd minutes and knocked up his first kick, but soon settled into the game. Keatley will want to get his hands on the ball as quickly as possible.
And here now is the first scrum, the first set piece, and both sides. If we remember this corresponding scrum in the fixture over in Paris, Munster nearly ran Racing over the line, and they'll be looking to try and do the same this time.
Balance, both sides.
It was a powerful performance at Murrayfield as well last weekend. Mike Sherry, who missed that Edinburgh game, failed to get through the warm-up, but passed his fitness test on Friday, as I mentioned, and now has been inserted back into the starting 15 at the expense of Damien Varley, who's on the bench this afternoon. A little too much enthusiasm from the Munster pack, and Jacques Cronier quick to lead his team away from their own 22. Here's Ollie Barkley. Swings in out to Germain. Barkley, first footing at Thomond Park, would you believe? Played against Leinster for Bath, but has never played here against Munster. A mishmash of a contact area first on, and Munster get the dibs out of that.
Well, that was an excellent tackle there by both Keith Earls and Simon Zebo as they did that famous choke tackle, as it's become known. Here you see it here, getting right into the position, not letting Racing get to the ground. And of course, the minute it hits the deck now, what referees are doing is they're giving the scrum to the opposition. But a couple of, ominous signs just from a Munster point of view, making 2 mistakes there early on, kicking out in the full firstly, and secondly that early over-enthusiastic engagement to allow Racing to give a free kick. So they must just tighten up in those key areas at the moment.
Understandably, adrenaline coursing through the Munster team. Limerick has been bubbling about this game all week.
Again, you see their over-enthusiasm, over-exuberance, and it's just handed the momentum back to Racing.
That's twice. Next one will be a penalty.
Yeah, you just see there the crouch touch set. And what happens in that situation, as if you're a front row, you're right on your toes, and you're just dying to get in, and if you don't get that timing absolutely perfect, you're inclined to go just before the call.
Benjamin Sarr, the Racing tight head, a huge mountain of a tight head, 21.5 stone inside that kit. Billy and Barkley moving in. There's Dumoulin, the 23-year-old, in at inside centre, being sent backwards. The ball hacked forward by Keith Earls, and suddenly there's problems for Racing just outside their own 22. There's problems for Munster because James Downey is down in backfield, but Munster are on the trot towards the 22, and I think we're going to see. There's a red card. It's Karen Ghazal, is it? Well, dramatic start. It's not Gazal, it's actually Antoine Batut. To the head, there's Batut. And Wayne Barnes has had no second thoughts. He has shown a red card to the Racing blindside. And Racing are going to have 75 minutes of playing with 14 men.
Well, that is an absolute disaster from a Racing point of view. We haven't seen it, but Wayne Barnes looks 100% adamant that that was a red card, just judging on his body language. And no, this is going to be a completely different game. Munster will have a numerical advantage for virtually the whole game.
Well, discipline has been an issue for Racing this season. 17 yellow cards they've had, as against 9 for Munster. Let's take a look. There's Earls. There's Batut coming in at the back of that maul.
Knee, head. Time on.
Knee to the head, says Wayne Barnes, and it's on. It's there. He's just gone through with a knee to the head. You just saw it at the end of that clip.
Yeah, we just see it here. He's number 6 on this side there, if you're watching. Just here now, it's number 6. You can see him there in the middle of the shot there. I don't think there was a hold pile on that.
No, that wasn't on us. I think it was further around there, but, well, it's a huge call from Wayne Barnes. Never a man to step back from the responsibility of officiating, and now, as if this match wasn't tough enough for the French visitors, they are going to have to sort out their defensive line. One man down. Huge shouts from the stands. Munster's maul not producing the yardage they were hoping to gain there, but O'Donnell resets the focus further infield. Murray finds the runners waiting off his shoulder. Oh, Dave Kilcoyne. Good strength from the loose head. And they peel. Keatley looking for Earls, cutting back. 6 metres out now. Sherry. Bundled toward that corner flag, but the ball's still live for Munster. The opportunity to get over the whitewash, increasingly setting this crowd on edge. O'Donnell out to Keatley. There's a big gap out right. Earls has come back in though. Howlett was hanging wide right on that touchline. Earls opted to slant back in, and Racing were able to wrap their man out.
Well, what an exciting phase of play there. And you just see Wayne Barnes is calling another Racing player over as we speak.
It's the captain.
This player needs to understand that I won't have him screaming at me.
Julien Brugnot wears one, of course, the former Munster man himself.
Roll clear of the ball.
Brugnot made his Heineken Cup debut for Munster against Northampton some 3 and a bit years ago.
Here you see the pressure on here. Ball out to Earls. Earls had one outside him at this stage. He decided to cut back in the inside. Was backing himself to get over. Maybe he should have given it.
Well, 3 penalties already conceded by Racing.
They're okay to take a player, particularly.
Let's have a look at this red card. It's the right knee there.
Oh, well, that is a clear knee to the head.
I think that's Tommy O'Donnell, isn't it?
Clear knee to the head. I mean, there's no need for that. And, you know, I think that, okay, if he'd given a yellow card for it, he might have been right as well. But red, he was right there in the spot.
The lead.
Batut, who's the most experienced Heineken Cup campaigner in Racing's colours, is watching from the sidelines now as the pudding goes. Corlin holds at the base, it breaks again, and this time it's going to be a penalty to Racing. Noiro quick to feed Sorelli Bombo. Well, the moment is gone, and the nerves will still be there until Munster start to build up their scoreboard. Patience, though, is going to be a virtue this afternoon.
Well, I can tell you, if anybody thought that this Racing team were going to just arrive here and show up and let Munster score 4 easy tries, you know, they've been completely wrong. This Racing team, I know we're only 8 minutes 50 seconds into it, but they have come here to play, and down to 14 men. You saw the intensity in that last scrum, forcing the penalty against Munster, and we know how strong that Munster scrum is going on last week.
Mike Sherry called up to the Rugby World Cup squad in New Zealand as injury cover. Didn't actually play, but very much on the international radar. There's Simon Zebo, a man who's made his name on the international radar. Of course, came to European knowledge with that hat-trick against Northampton and the man of the match performance against Northampton last season in Milton Keynes.
And there you see the hands there. And Dougie Howler running with great intent, obviously to Zebo. They just need to make sure that those at the breakdown, you can see Racing there, they're challenging everything, but that again, that was Munster's own error. They just fumbled it there at the back of the ruck, and just gives Racing back that momentum.
Crouch, touch, set.
Julian Janet coming in off the wing to provide the flank support for that Racing scrum. Barkley kicks it straight to Felix Jones. Zebo, good strength from the winger, looking for the work, supporting his fullback, not making too much gain there, but the ball's still there for the home side.
No, still, restez. Merci.
Keatley just changing his option and kicking the ball straight at Wayne Barnes. Well, that's got the biggest cheer of the afternoon so far, unkindly. I think, thankfully, Wayne Barnes is okay.
I don't know, did even Keatley do that on purpose or what, but here you see it, bang, ooh.
Full in the face.
Into the face there of Wayne Barnes, and you see the Munster physio and Cool and Dr. Tygo Sullivan straight on to make sure that everything is okay.
Rav.
You might need a blood sub or something.
That'll be fine. Good to remember everything you do. You remember everything.
I think the phrase on my head, son, is not really applicable to that one, but Wayne Barnes seems to have all his faculties about him, or as many as he ever had before, certainly.
We better take a scrum and give it them.
Well, he certainly looks as if he's chatting, and there's a bit of a smile, but rightly just taking a few seconds there to regroup and make sure that he's thinking clearly again.
All right, we'll have another far side, all right.
I hope Ian Keatley's not going to be expecting any favours for the rest of this game. A big cheer when they see that Wayne Barnes is happy to carry on.
We'll find out when I start running. What?
People forget at times you can't have a game of rugby without that man in the middle, and all too often they get too much criticism, but you know something, Wayne Barnes in particular is a very good ambassador for the game on and off the field.
Touch.
Yes, no plastic surgery needed for Mr. Barnes, but immediately Munster get pinged in the front row again.
Well, we'll have to have a look at that from the other angle, but I hope that had nothing to do with the ball he got in the head. It seemed very premature blowing up that early.
Well, certainly these are going to be easy points that Messrs Penny and Foley up there in the stands will not be happy to want the Munster men to allow their visitors this afternoon.
Well, there you see it straight away. As I said, it was blown very, very early. Wasn't even given a chance for the ball to come in. Anthony Foley, of course, up there. When he's a man with tremendous experience at this level, you know, I suppose in adversity, he's the type of man who would have got everything out of all his teammates over the years.
It's going to be Gaëtan Germain, the fullback, who's going to take this first pot for Racing Metro. Sends it on its way and finds a target as well.
It's a good strike there by Germain, because there is a bit of a breeze down there. It's swirling around a bit. The other coach, of course, that we didn't mention there, Simon Mannix. who of course, with his experience with Racing, will be, you know, would have been very busy this week, giving all the information about them.
Well, Simon Mannix, 5 seasons as the Racing coach, in fact, brought Gaëtan Germain to the club. Mathieu Belly, who came in from Brive, from Toulouse Academy. Well, there's the latest from Vicarage Road. 2 Owen Farrell penalties, getting the scoreboard underway for Saracens.
Simple, I'll give you time,
And,
no problem.
Well, as it stands, it's Leinster still going through. A long, long way to go, of
10
course.
meters. 10.
And you will see how it unfolds here live on Sky Sports this afternoon. It promises to be a dramatic afternoon of sport. We've already seen 1 red card here after just 5 minutes for Antoine Batut. Racing, blindside flanker, accused of kneeing O'Donnell in the head. The referee Barnes says James Corlan cutting back against the flow. Now it repeals to the far side. Felix Jones, another man who had to pass a fitness test on Friday. Zebo comes in, but nobody's finding the thrust at the moment, and Sherry looking for that offload with nobody coming through.
Well, it's interesting there, and Sherry trying to do the right thing, trying to offload in the tackle, and he is a very skillful player. Here you see the hands out wide, and you know, I guess looking at it there earlier, you saw the way the whole back row, Peter O'Mahony took the ball up 10 yards, James Collin took another 5 yards, and then Tommy O'Donnell did it. I wonder, should they be doing a bit more of that? And the old cliche, you've got to earn the right to go wide. Are Munster trying to do that just a small bit too early?
A lot of talk in the media and in the public about this new style that Rob Penny's trying to get into Munster. Does it feel like it's settling in? I mean, quite often you see that instinct not quite there. We saw it there with that offload from Mike Sherry. You aware of that?
Well, certainly there is. As you're evolving as a team, I mean, you have to try new things, but it's just about getting that balance right, isn't it?
Great work from Donica Ryan, snagging the opposition scrum off before he could get the clearance kick away. And now Munster have the put into the scrum on the Racing 22, just outside it. What a servant Donica Ryan has been to the Munster cause.
There you see it there. Good tackle there by James Collin. And that's exactly what Munster do best. Donica Ryan coming through there on belly and forcing the error. And that's what they just need to start doing, just harrying the opposition, forcing Racing into mistakes. Don't forget they're down to 14 men. So if you build the phases against a team that are already down numbers, that will stretch them, and the gaps in the space will eventually open up.
Touch, set.
Again, the pressure coming through from that Racing second row. Referee allowing the reset.
Stay straight.
Fabrice Metz into that engine room for the Parisians. 26-year-old with plenty of power inside 6'6" frame. Have a look at that territory and you can see, well, it's pretty much all been in one half thus far in the first quarter of an hour. But the scoreboard shows Racing in the lead. Again, the front row sniff the turf, but the ball is out to Keatley. There's Downey being used in his best role, really. Such a strong presence at inside centre. Murray looking again at that short side. Corlan leading the way. Quick ball there. Munster trying to get through the gears a little quicker now. Zebo spots a forward. Pulled down in the end by Dumoulin. And the penalty goes against Munster as Donacre O'Callaghan comes through offside.
Well, what a super poach there by Racing. The momentum totally against them. Here you see good fast ball thrown out the back door, and Munster had numbers here. Zebo backing himself to get through that gap, doing extremely well there, and just watching there as I can't see who it was there, one of the Racing players trapping that ball and getting the penalty.
Ball coming in. Oh, hits my screen, and I'm not giving it back. I suppose I better.
Are you ready for it?
There's about 30 Munster fans that want the ball. And Sheehan throws it squint. Some things don't change.
I just hit the touch judge anyway.
Where's woken him up? Thankfully I didn't call for the mark, so play can continue.
5 red! 5 red, back you go. Thank you.
Racing, who've really struggled to get the consistency that they've been after. Pierre Villepreux, the revered former French fullback and coach and now rugby sage, said Racing struggled to keep consistency in their strategy and tactics, and of course off the park it's been so difficult, so many moves, so many changes being mooted for next season. Coaches coming in, players coming in. We all know about the Northampton pair, Tongawaia and Mujati coming in, Jamie Roberts coming into the back line. Wenceslas Lorre, the Biarritz open side, has said he's already signed to play. It's not easy when you're going to have another 6 months of rugby, knowing, well, not knowing whether you're going to be playing the following season.
Certainly, and I guess Racing now will be, their confidence will be building all the time. They're down to 14 men. There's a quarter of this game already gone, and they're leading this match 3-0. So all this talk about Munster getting a bonus point, you know, it's obviously still totally on the cards, but at the same time, the longer this goes on, the few injuries, the breaking up of this game, that's going to suit Racing more and more.
Racing 9th in the top 14 and desperate to get themselves back into the top 6 so that they once again will be part of Les Barrages, the playoff system in the top 14, as they have been for the last 2 seasons.
Replacement. Watch stop, please.
It looks like it is Bali who's in trouble and is going off.
They're walking very gingerly off to the far side. They've got Sébastien Descamps, who played so well last week against Saracens. Of course, Maxime Machinot, the current French #1 scrum half, is injured. There is Descamps. So that shouldn't cause too many problems in terms of continuity for Racing.
Okay, watch on.
The take in the middle from the Racing skipper Cronje. Descamps happy to allow his forwards to grind another couple of metres. Donica Ryan trying to be a major irritant in that maul, but the ball is out. Noiro cuts back again. Good hands from Descamps, but I don't think Brugnot was ready for it.
First one knocked on. Knocked on.
And you see there what Racing are trying to do, build the maul, slow this game down,
Scrum red.
and get the dominance. And you see the ball, lovely little loop play there inside to Brugnot. Former Munster man, of course, and very popular guy over here. The time he spent on and off the field.
Well, of course, Racing have been in this scenario so many times over recent seasons. You go think back to last season, and of course that game at Milton Keynes that we've already mentioned when Simon Zevo got the hat-trick, and go back to 2008, that Wasps game. The Sale game in 2006, of course, when the Sharks arrived, and there was that huge double hit, I seem to remember, on Sébastien Cheval. Sale's alpha male sent backwards, shuddering backwards by the 2 second rows, and set out the message for the rest of the game, which eventually ended up with David Wallace scoring the try in injury time.
That's right. I remember looking at Sant-André, who'd been both here with Gloucester and Sale over the years, getting his heart broken on 2 different occasions.
Of course, what a big win that was to be, because of course it led to the final trip to the Millennium Stadium against Biarritz, when the Munstermen finally got their clutches on the Heineken Cup trophy. A miracle match, of course, in Gloucester, we've already mentioned, you know, is still very vivid in many people's minds, and Munster had to get, what was it, 27-point win and 4 tries, and did it right at the end in injury time.
It was 27 points at least, and they had to win by 4 clear tries.
And right up to the end, it didn't look like you were going to make it. And of course, just happened. But Munster have this capacity to be able to make it just happen. The key thing now is, can these young guys actually take on that mindset, that belief, to know that they can get over the winning line? Over the last few years, they've lost 7 players with over 1,000 caps. And the youngsters have come in, obviously going to take time to bed in and find that experience. This the first time since the '99 quarter-finals that a Munster team sheet has not had the names of O'Gara or O'Connell on a Heineken Cup fixture. So a significant match in Munster's history. Kilcoyne trying to barge his way through. Keatley sends it out to Zebo. Zebo looking for work already. Again, the ball just not sticking. And as we move into the second quarter of this match, there's just an air of unease working its way into the crowd.
And you have to give Racing a certain amount of credit here. They've been absolutely, look at this now. That is what Munster do best, getting guys like James Downey running good fast lines. Where the errors for me have been creeping in here is every time Munster seem to go wide, there seems to be some bit of a turnover at the breakdown. So Munster need to, I'm sure Anthony Foley now will be saying, guys, we need to get a bit more direct here. Give the ball to the Kilcoynes, give the ball to the O'Manis, the Collins, and let's get over that gain line. And you know what, after a good few more phases, we can then go wide.
It's very much a case of walking before they can run this afternoon. I'm not sure that James Downey is going to be able to run too far. That looks like a rib problem that he had 6-7 minutes ago. Such a big player in every sense of the word in this Munster backline in his second spell.
And what are you seeing there?
You see Simon Mannix on the right-hand side, the backs coach, former Racing coach. And James Downey would be a loss. I think he started the game extremely well. He'd one massive hit within the first few minutes of this match. But of course, to have the likes of Casey Loala on the bench is a great option to have as well.
Well, yeah, you've got Casey Loala and JJ Hanrahan. You can mix the two. I think Hanrahan came on at 12 in that Edinburgh game in round 2, didn't he?
That's right, absolutely, yeah. He's a very good 10 and a very good 12 as well.
Again, Janet coming off his wing to provide some flank support. Good work from Sébastien Descamps.
Well, that was an absolutely super kick there from Descamps. There was nothing on. He went around that blind side. He saw Zebo was up, and a beautiful kick and getting just the right bounce. There you see it, over Zebo's head, and look at the look of the bounce, and just pins Munster back inside their own 22.
You say the luck of the bounce has almost become an art form now in almost being able to spin the ball like they do in cricket off the boot of so many of these top kickers now in world rugby.
Attack calls, Cats. Quick. Captain!
Munster just working their way to allow Conor Murray the clearance kick. Both wingers jumping in the air as they went for that ball. Oh, Descamps coming through, offside. Cherry quick to get this Munster engine revving again. O'Callaghan, such experience in the second row from Donnacha O'Callaghan. Got to be a leader here. Keatley getting through, walk down high. Referee happy with the way it's set out. Peter O'Mahony, the go-to man in many ways for Munster, top ball carrier in this competition, likened by some of his teammates this week to a young Paul O'Connell. And this game now is just coming to the boil. Punches being thrown on that far side. An incendiary situation is sparking off now And the officials are going to have to get to grips very quickly with it. Metz and BJ Bota in earnest discussion. JP Doyle, the assistant referee, on that far side.
Well, it certainly has got the crowd up and going. All 30 or 29 out there are just chomping at the bit there, showing the intensity, and it is boiling over. There's no doubt about that. And you saw.
Let's just have a listen into this.
Coming, kicking the ball as he played the ball, kicking the ball out of his hands, and then we've got a reaction, but I haven't seen a reaction.
By the Munster 9 of no great importance. 7 also runs in of no great importance. 3 runs in, no great importance. Stay with the original penalty.
Original penalty. I'm just going to talk to both captains about getting involved.
Calm, cool approach from the officials. Just have a look here. Descamps coming through and booting the ball out of Murray's grasp. Murray not liking it, and Ghazal coming through to
clearly he can't do that. We know that.
Provide a little more impetus, shall we say, into the discussion.
If it happens again, we might have people off the park. So just
see a few punches being thrown inside that group.
Just tell him to
grab his hands, not to actually kick it. Both sides, you see the likes of Keith Ayres now and Donncha Ryan in trying to dissolve it. And the decision looks like it's going to be a penalty to Munster.
I'm sure Ian Keatley didn't take off his boot to join that conversation, but he's just returning it now. And significantly, though, Simon Zebo is going to use his left boot to set up an attacking line out for Munster. 24 minutes gone on the clock, no points on the board. Can they manufacture something from this position now against 14-man Racing side? The take is clean from Ryan. The forwards come round to set up the phalanx around the ball carrier. Sherry takes control of the ball. They've had one go. Now they're going to get the second go. The power comes on. The leg drive takes them up within sniffing distance of that white line. Conor Murray weighing up the options, trying to get through Barkley and succeeding. And Conor Murray at last gets Munster on the trail.
Well, it had to come, didn't it? Great drive by Munster from the maul. You could see Racing were defending vehemently. And there you see it, Murray at the stage. You could see there that they were coming into problems, and they're backing himself to get over that line, showing great strength there with about 3 Racing players around him to get that ball grounded. Great play by Conor Murray.
Well, Conor Murray, a scrum half made from the same mould that produced Mike Phillips. He's already got a couple of tries this season in the Heineken Cup, both against Edinburgh. Now back on halfway, watching Ian Keatley. Keatley sends it on its way, and Munster celebrates 7 points at last. They've had to be patient, but at last they are on the board and they are in the lead.
And there you see it again, Murray just stepping in off his left, and invariably in that situation 9 scrum halves out of 10 would be held up, and it would probably be a scrum 5. But all around the ground you can feel an air of relief at Munster finally getting over for the first try, and it's taken 25 minutes to do it. It wasn't like Leinster last night when it only took 3 minutes.
Well, your mind goes back to the Edinburgh game here in round 2, when they didn't get the first try until the 50-minute mark, and it was Conor Murray, of course, who got that try, and then had to wait for the last 10 minutes before 3 more follow. Now, Gaëtan Germain, once again, unable to get up to the high ball. Well, that tactic seems to have borne fruit already, and surely Ian Keatley is going to be looking at that for further advance through this game.
Well, he did it in the first minute of the game as well. I'm sure it was something O'Gara told him to do from the off, because the one thing it does is if they do drop it, it gives the whole crowd a lift around the place, and you can hear the chanting since.
Crouch. Touch. Set.
Corlin feeds his scrum half, and Munster look to that far side. Keith Earls up against Guillaume Boussès, experienced outside centre Boussès. Keatley quick to feed the forward pod in the middle. Kilcoyne next to Bust, hands up another, brought down by Germain. Munster with opportunities, so many numbers on the left-hand side. Keith Earls feeds out, and it's that man Zebo who gets the flags a fluttering at Thomond Park once again.
Well, there you have it. 2 tries now in the last 3 minutes. The crowd are up on their feet. They feel there's something in the air at the moment. There's the man who scored it, Simon Zebo. The 6th Heineken Cup try in 11 appearances. But you had to say, give all the credit to this man here, Dave Kilcoyne, barging up the middle of the field for a loose head prop. Superb strength, superb power, and that allowed the fast ball there. It was easy from here. Keatley out to Earls, lovely hands to Zebo. Great try by Munster.
And Zebo really does provide, dare I say it, that X factor, that sense of expectation that something special could happen, and once again he's proved it. Now, can Ian Keatley add another 2 points? Just squeezing at the wrong side of the post.
Shaving the post. And there you see it there. Great hands by Mike Sherry into Kilcoyne.
I have to say, he reminds me of one of your old teammates in his pomp, Marcus Horan.
Oh, Marcus, yeah.
Another man who loved to get the ball in his hand and loved to roam the empty spaces.
Well, Marcus was very, very quick and used to show great speed out in the wings at times.
Behind the line, please, because make sure you do it behind the line, okay? You can come back as far as you want.
So, coming up to the half-hour mark, and how the mood at Thomond Park has changed in the last 5 minutes. Suddenly 2 tries on the board. They were always in control of the game in terms of territory and possession. Now they're in control in terms of the scoreboard too. And don't forget, Racing 1 man down. Batout sent off after just 5 minutes.
Relax, off you go, relax. Off you go.
Just see there.
Let's catch up with
Plackeries.
scores elsewhere, and of course it's Vicarage Road. 14-7 now. Saracens leading. Chris Ashton's got over the line. Greg Tonks, former Northampton fullback, has got one back for Edinburgh. So that's how the top 8 stands at the moment. Of course, it's Ulster under most threat from the Saracens scoreline at Vicarage Road. Munster at the moment on 19 points, and that critical extra bonus point will come a lot later in this game, you suspect. Germain with his 2nd kick of the day. Plenty of distance on that, and the direction's good too. I was talking to Paul O'Connell before the game about the wind here at Thomond Park, and he said normally it would be working right to left as we're looking on the pictures now, but it seems to have a swirling effect. It doesn't seem to be constant. It makes it very difficult for the kickers, consequently.
It does, and that was a superb strike there by Germain again. And interestingly, going for the shot at goal as opposed to going for the corner. We saw Exeter last night. They kind of played in the spirit that the way Leinster were playing by going for the corners as well.
Good work from Omani.
No knock on.
Sent out again, James Corlin. A real late developer, really. Corlin didn't come to the professional game till 26 years of age, and now 5 years on. Pass from Downey, not helping Simon Zebo, but spinning out of the tackle of Janet. Good footwork from Tommy O'Donnell. giving his best Matador impression. And the ball now for Keatley. Sorelli Bombo, though, anticipating what was coming, as you'd expect from the... Well, he's 37 next week, Bombo. Brings down Dougie Howlett, another experienced wingman. O'Donnell reins him through. Some piston power handoffs, allowing him to get back into opposition territory.
Just bringing him back there for a shoulder charge on Tommy O'Donnell. And another guy, Tommy O'Donnell, who has really, really excelled this season. There you see the hands there going out.
Watch his stop, fellas.
Just making a few yards out of absolutely nothing, showing great feet there.
No harm in the tackle.
Oh, an interesting replacement call for Racing with 7 minutes to go till the break. Benjamin Sarr being replaced by Juan Pablo Orlandi. But there you see the work that Tommy O'Donnell's been doing. Missed the Saracens game home and away with an ankle injury, but now in his 5th successive start.
And there you see was Cronje, who came across and he had the arm bent up, which meant he'd made no effort to actually make the tackle as such. And that's a penalty. Here you see it, look, watch Cronje come across on this near side, bang. That's a shoulder charge, penalty immediately.
Just get the arm in there.
Those stats tell you everything about this game thus far. It's a matter of whether Munster can capitalise on that before the break. Good work from the Racing forwards, repelling invaders into their 22, but it's still there for the Munster men. Donica Ryan being forced backwards by that line, so Keatley has to thread it through. Germain coming across, good strength from the fullback, but the tackle from Downey has stopped his man, and consequently Munster are going to get a penalty. Well, this is within kicking range, but surely it's going to be a chance to set up for another attack. What's the call going to be here?
And you see them looking out to Doug Howlett. He's pointing to the corner. They could go to the corner, scrum, or just tap and go. I guess when the ball slows down, you might as well go for the set piece. But James Downey again doing superbly well. Germain getting around there, you see him here, and Zibo just eludes him, and there you see the little tap tackle there, and allows the Munster players to come in and trap that ball. I know this is a great attacking platform. 5 yards out now for Munster. Expect this to go right up the jumper.
Psychologically, this is a huge moment in the game. You suspect 5 minutes from the break. If Munster could puncture the blue and white line again, it's a huge moment, and it is. And it's that man, Mike Sherry, the man who from a similar position against Edinburgh in round 2 got the bonus point try. He's got the 3rd one this afternoon. And how important is that score?
Well, you can see what it means to the players. Every one of them are there, and initially getting driven right back by Racing, but there you see keeping it patient, showing good formation there. You see the guys getting ahead of Mike, and there you see Peter O'Mahony carrying Mike Sherry over, and a great try for Munster, great forward try.
Well, you suspect the French psyche is fragile enough as it is from last week, but the way that Munster have hit them with 3 tries now in, what, 10, 11 minutes, is surely going to play on their minds, and it's certainly going to boost the Munster men on their quest to the 4-try mark. Oh, Keatley decides to bounce on off the left-hand upright this time.
The question now lies, Simon, can Munster get this bonus point before half-time?
Is that a good thing? I have to say, I've seen it situations where that's happened, and in the second half they've failed to get into gear again.
But I don't think it would matter if they got it in the first half. I'm sure every one of them out there would take it.
Well, certainly that's the first aim, but we might be looking at try count as well, don't forget, because the maths that's involved this afternoon mean that even if Munster win the game with the bonus point to get them into the 8th slot, there is a scenario where if Toulouse lose at Welford Road this afternoon, but lose with 2 bonus points, it could be down to try count, and Toulouse already have 14 tries in the bag.
Which would mean if they got 4 tries, they'd be up to 18 tries. I think it would be too long a shot for Munster to try and chase that.
Munster now with 12 tries in their locker, and they're looking for that 4th. Keith Earls has Zebo outside him, cuts back inside again. Well, the door seemed open for Simon Zebo then, but Earls decided to cut back in. Can Munster make something of it? Howlett with a little chip and chase. Bombo's back, and it's battered out by Decor. Well, Wayne Barnes is right up to speed with it. I think he's going to go, and I think David Grassoff in our truck is going to have a look at this. Let's have a look and hear what the question is.
Referring potential foul play in goal. Yeah. And can you advise, please?
He is asking, is this potential foul play? You are not allowed bat the ball out the way it appears that it was done there. So the TMO is going to make a decision on that.
The question is, were they batting it dead, or were they just batting it out of the clutches of Dougie Howlett in the hope that they could touch down?
Well,
have a look. Dacon and Bombo coming across. It's Dacon really who's got the majority of that ball, and you could see him trying to touch the ball down there.
Well, on the second occasion, I think initially he was just trying to get that.
Yeah.
Here we'll hear the decision here anyway. He was trying to get that out of the reach of Doug Howlett.
Thank you very much. Can you just advise us to the restart then, please, whether the ball was over the line?
Well, it's not going to be a penalty or a penalty try.
No try, 22.
It's going to be a 22 restart for Racing. Well, Bombo has taken it and set off. And I've got a feeling Simon Zebo is probably quite glad that he's heard the whistle.
Well, do you know something? That was fantastic play by Racing Metro. Very, very innovative play. And Bombo was waiting up by the 22 in anticipation. And there you saw it. There you saw it. The ball went straight up to him, and I can tell you something. There was an extremely good chance he could have finished that. You see it there. Brilliant play. Now, I know they were called back, but good thinking.
Okay. Watch on.
Well, there is the veteran winger. Made his Heineken Cup debut for Biarritz against Saracens, what, 7 and a bit years ago. Of course, played in that Biarritz side that lost to Leinster in the final in 2006. Good take from Descon to rescue the ball for Les Ciels Blancs.
Now use it!
Cronje trying to drive his team away.
No hands, no hands!
Really got to keep a calm head on there, and that's a flying clear out from Bernard Leroux, the South African Open side, going horizontal. Good take from Murray. Zebo calls for it, gets it, looks for the gap. The threat always there from Simon Zebo, pulled down on the 22. Again, Munster trying to make the most of this territorial advantage. And of course, still with the man advantage, but again, just overplaying the ball there and giving away the penalty.
Zebo was just inches away from getting through there. Super tackle by, here you see him going right, going left, and just backing himself there. And brilliant, brilliant tackle, just about getting him there. We saw Bousses managing to get him. The ball nearly arriving up in our box yet again.
Well, Simon Zebo could have been playing in the top 14 against Racing next season. There was plenty of interest from the French aristocrats. Of course, he has a Mauritian father, former French commando, and he's a fluent French speaker. But he said the friendship and camaraderie at Munster meant more to him than the money, and he signed on for another stint with the Munster men, and I'm sure Munster and indeed Ireland are really delighted that he's wearing a Munster 11 shirt again, or who knows, it may well turn out to be a fullback shirt that he settles into. Such a talent. Quick move on there. Good footwork from Keith Earls. Earls hacks it clear. Who's going to get there first? It's a foot race for glory for that 4th try. Well, relief there from Barkley. The referee's whistle goes. Frankie, are you a confident man that Munster now are on the right route?
Certainly, having 3 tries just before half-time is great, but I can tell you something, there is a bit of a breeze there. We saw there wasn't a whole pile of play in the Munster half in that half, so there's a lot to play for here. I'm sure Racing will do whatever it takes. They'll be trying as hard as they can to try and spoil the party here in Thomond Park.
Munster stepping in the right direction at half-time. 3 tries in the bag. Half-time, they lead 17 points to 6.
It is easier to play the way Munster were playing in the first half as against the second half. I've no doubt they're going to get that all-important 4th try, but I feel it is going to be very, very difficult. There you see the wind factor out there, so it's going to mean you're going to have the ball in the hand more.
Well, certainly when I'm looking at the flags in the stands, most of them appear to be working in Munster's favour, if you like, from behind Munster, left to right, as you're seeing it on the screen. I wonder how much of an impact that sending off after just 5 minutes of Batut is going to impact on the final 40 minutes of this game now.
Well, it will just mean that Racing, you know, they might be getting tired. If they're getting tired more at 70 minutes, they might be getting more tired at 60 minutes, and they'll have to use their bench a lot more.
Rob, just wait 1 second.
The fuel tanks in the Racing side are going to be tested this afternoon, that's for sure. It's a matter now of whether Munster can slip themselves back into that attacking gear that they found so successfully in the final quarter of an hour of that first half. And again, the offload's not going to hand. That's the talk amongst the public of Limerick. I was walking around Limerick yesterday, and also in the papers, about this change of style that Rob Penny is trying to introduce, and it doesn't seem to click all the time. And the instinct, and I mentioned instinct in the first half, the instinct doesn't seem to be there yet.
Well, it's not there yet, but I mean, you know, I think if this Munster team qualifies for the last 8 years, you see the break with Peter O'Mahony going down, and obviously took a knock because he's in a bit of pain there on the ground. Superb leg drive to get through, just unfortunate with the offload. But it's about getting that balance, and at what time do you do that? And it's all about, I feel, you know, and I think Munster has traditionally been very, very direct style of play, you know, not too many frills about the way they've played. But, you know, as a team, you've got to evolve as well. You've got to learn new things, and it's just the learning as to at what stage do they do those offloads, at what stage do they just decide, well, let's just keep it tight.
And it is the evolution of this Munster team, isn't it? Because you look at, like, the Ireland squad that Declan Kidney's picked with 39 men. There's only 8 Munster men in. I can't remember the last time there was only 20% of the Irish squad have been Munster men. And Simon Zebo, of course, we see score in the second try, one of those 8.
Well, there was always going to be a big change over here. I mean, you've guys like John Hayes, what a stalwart that he was. You know, guys like Jerry Flannery, you've other guys like Mick O'Driscoll retired last year, and back row guys like David Wallace, Alan Quinlan, Anthony Foley, Dennis Leamy.
You can name almost a team's worth.
Absolutely. So there was always going to be a transition period. But saying that, this team are 1 try away from getting to the last 8 of the Heineken Cup.
And that would be a huge success on their, well, not road to revolution, but transitional stage that everybody recognises the Munster men are in at the moment. Possess unable to take clean lead on that Racing attack. This community so heavily involved with Munster, so heavily involved with the rugby club. I can't think of any other team where it's so intrinsic in the lifeblood of what goes on, particularly in Limerick, also of course in Cork.
Well, it is. There's a real umbilical cord, I guess, between the players and supporters, and there's a closeness a community type of parish atmosphere that really makes this Munster team.
Wait.
Ironic cheers from the stands as this time Gaetan Germain holds on to the lofted clearance from Keatley. Deacon, first half substitute for Mathieu Belly. A live wire of a scrum half. And again, handling just falling away at the end. Again, it's that man Germain, the former Bourgoin fullback, not enjoying one of his best days. Made the most of Benjamin Dombiel's injury early in the season to cement the 15 shirt.
Well, the other interesting thing about this scoreline at the moment, it's 17 points to 6. We're all talking about this Munster bonus point. Racing are looking at this game saying, you know what, we've got a bit of a win behind us. We are only 11 points behind. We could win this match. So Munster can't lose sight of that either. You could go away and get your extra try and be under pressure to win the match. So it's very important now that they go up, and the sooner they get this bonus point try, the better, just to be able to close this game off.
We talk about points, the importance of points in the 5 minutes leading up to half-time, but of course it's the 5 minutes after half-time as well. Earl's pass to Dougie Howlett doesn't find his skipper, and Howlett forced to kick off his weaker foot. The ricochet working out all right for Munster. Downey straightening things up, providing the focus, the centrepiece for the next attack. Earls slides through too, brought down just short of halfway. And now you see the forwards getting involved in midfield. Zebo coming off his wing. Howlett has two men outside him, and one of them's O'Donnell. Felix Jones cuts back inside. O'Donnell, like any good open side, once again up in support. Flop over the top from Racing, gets the deserved penalty.
That was great interplay here up the touchline. It looked like Mbamba had plenty of time to cover the tackle, but Felix Jones and O'Donnell linking and combining extremely well to get over and in behind Racing there.
Well, that's an example of where you can see the new game plan actually working, with the forwards and backs combining, particularly out wide in those wide channels. And that's what Rob Penny is trying to instill into this Munster side. That's how he got the success in Canterbury, won the ITM Cup on so many occasions.
And there you see it here. Great leg drive there from Felix Jones to leave Mbamba behind him. And now 7 yards out, line out. Is this the opportunity that Munster take their bonus point?
Well, the handling not working for the home side in that particular line-out.
Well, if you just, we see it again in a minute, what happened there is it was just a knock-on from the line-out, and it is difficult to throw to the tail of this line-out in the conditions that are out there. It's very dry, very crisp out there, nice for playing, but you've got to be a small bit forgiving with the passing and the throwing, because there certainly is a bit of a gust out there.
Well, the veteran Andrea Lo Cicero coming into the fray now at the expense of Julien Brugnot. And he is under duress for his first scrum, because it's, albeit it's a Racing put-in, it's only 6 metres away from their line.
Crouch!
Charlie Bombo coming into the pack to add his weight to the cause. Cognier tries to pick up and drive his team away. It doesn't get far, so the ball is back to Barkley, and the left boot of Barkley gets good advance up towards halfway.
Well, a good relieving kick, and you mentioned La Cicero. I remember playing a Barbarians game with him a number of years back. I mean, what an ox of a man he is, and credit to him that he's still going to this day.
Italy's most capped prop, 98 appearances in the Six Nations squad, so there's every chance that through this Six Nations he'll be able to bring up the century. A very amiable character, very popular character, very sociable man, so I'm told. Line out working for the Red of Munster, and again Downey straightening it up, trying to get the break. Again they peel back to this right-hand side. Keith Earls trying to slalom his way through the Racing defence. It's there, it's quick ball this time. Amani not able to break the tackle, but patience and perseverance paid off for Munster towards the end of that first half. Whilst they can't expect everything to happen immediately in this second half, they've got their hands on the ball. They've just got to keep going through the phases until they can breach that blue and white line. Keatley has Corlin on his shoulder. Corlin even started in the Sevens game before turning pro with Munster at a later age. Is O'Donnell, another man who likes the open spaces, the rangy open side, works his team up to the 22. The forwards call for it, led by Donica Ryan. And then, of course, equally at home in second row or back row, Howlett in at first receiver. Plenty of French shirts there in front of him, but Mike Sherry puts his head down, drives his team into the red zone. Oh, Kilcoyne gets through 2, through 3. It's there again for Munster. The little duck through. Howlett's on the end of it. Is the skipper going to get the fourth? No, he's not this time. Great play from the Munster backline. The call from Howlett. Keatley threaded it through the line. Just beat the Munster skipper to the dead ball area.
It was just agonisingly close there for Howlett. Brilliant idea by Keatley, just giving it a small bit too much weight, but we're off again.
Yeah, this game is not going to stop for anybody. Zebo sends it through. Simon Zebo looking for his second. The magic man has done it. Simon Zebo sends Thomond Park ecstatic. The flags are flying. The bonus point is in the bag. Job not yet finished, but well on the way to completion.
Well, Thomond Park has exploded 10 years ago, nearly to the day, in the miracle match when Munster won that game. And here you see it again, the quick dropout from Racing Metro. Racing were trying to put the pressure right back on Munster. Great counter by Felix Jones there, and here you see the hands out into Zebo. Beautiful tap through there, and gathered his own one. And here you see the crowd. Zebo.
Well, Zebo has already taken folk hero status in these parts, and every match he turns out for Munster, he just embellishes that reputation.
And the agony and the ecstasy. You see Leinster hearts will sink after seeing that. Munster have now leapfrogged Leinster into number 8 seeding. Once they can win this match.
Keatley keeps it low, drills it through, adds another 2 points to the cause. Well, that is just what Rob Penny will have wanted in the first 10 minutes of this second half.
You see James Downey is gone off. Casey Lawala is on the field. Downey was carrying those ribs there for a certain amount of the first half, and he had a great game in that first half too, didn't he, Simon?
Certainly did, both in defence and attack, and it was a pivotal point for so many of Munster's attacking game plans. But that man Zebo, well, he just has that capacity. It's like an Irish Jason Robinson. Whenever he gets the ball, you just think something could happen. Not necessarily that it will, but it could happen.
Well, he's just got a confidence about him. He backs himself every time he gets the ball. You can see he enjoys the ball when it's in his hand, and he is a constant threat, even if at times he takes a few defenders out. But it's at the latter parts of the game where the space often opens up for him.
What is going through the minds of Racing right now? How much fortitude have they got to actually come back and try and get a foothold in this game? Man down, of course, since the 5th minute. And LaRue trying to struggle his way up to halfway. There's the Argentinian Juan Pablo Orlandi, 10 caps for his country. Barkley brings it this side to get Bombo into the game. Good red defence thus far. Corlan coming up quickly to snare Dumoulin. And there's a turnover ball, is there? No, I think they've just edged it back. The French really having their credentials tested inside this final half an hour now. Deschamps looking at the short side, but being wrapped up by Conor Murray.
Offside.
Offside though, the Munster defence. Let's just have a look how that top 8 now stands. We told you it was going to keep changing through the afternoon. The change now is the 8th seed is Munster. Jamie Heaslip, sitting on his sofa at home, will not be a happy man. That's the game that could still affect whether Munster go through to the Heineken Cup quarters. Leicester against Toulouse, Welford Road, penalty, winner takes all.
Penalty offside. Yeah, where you are. Sorry.
Well, there you see Paul O'Connell and Alan Quinlan up beside him. And I'm sure you'd see the smiles on their faces.
Yes, O'Connell has only 2 games this season of being rounds 1 and 2. Hoping to be back for the quarter-final stages.
6 in. That's all right, wasn't you?
The Fields of Athenry starts ringing round Thomond Park. A special anthem in these parts. And it really does seem to fit this marvellous rugby amphitheatre. It used to be a chapel here in its primitive state. Now it's doubled in size. Now it's a rugby abbey.
Well, the Munster supporters feel they deserve this. They have had a tough few years watching on as Leinster have done so brilliantly well, winning 3 out of the last 4 Heineken Cups. But, I think this is if Munster, and let's not get carried away, Munster still have not qualified. They need to do 2 things. They need to win this match first, which looks pretty likely at this stage. But secondly, if you're in the Toulouse camp at this stage and you're the coach, you're going to be having a meeting with your players saying, look guys, we can only do one thing here. We got to get the 4 tries. And that could be dangerous. If you have a French side looking for 4 tries, that can still be dangerous.
It is on the more limited confines of Welford Road, it has to be said. You don't often get that many teams going to Welford Road and picking up the bonus point. And here come the red wave. It's engulfing Racing now. Everybody wants their hands on the ball. The feel-good factor is back in Munster rugby, certainly for the time being. Dave Kilcoyne trying to bundle his way through yet again. The next forward pod waiting. The placement not helping them, but the ball still there in the possession of the home side. Donnacha O'Callaghan feeds out to his second row partner, Donnacha Ryan. Keatley throws out to Felix Jones. Jones out, and Zebo's in for his hat-trick. It's deja vu for Simon Zebo. Last year, round 6, Northampton, Milton Keynes, hat-trick, man of the match. This year, he's done it again.
Well, you can see it there. And the crowd start with the Zebo again. Great play by Munster all around. You can see how much the Racing defence had been stretched. They're getting tired out there. They're losing their heads are dropping. And good fast ball. Donnacha Ryan attacking space, tying up about 2 or 3 defenders there. Good fast ball there. And at this stage, it was simple hands there. Earl's doing extremely well again. And you're not going to stop Zebo from 5 yards. Full credit again there to Keith Earls, who really has exploded into the second half and has played extremely well. And there's the man, hat-trick man, Simon Zebo.
Yes, as much as we're going on about Simon Zebo, the influence of Keith Earls in the attacking strategies of Munster has been very significant this afternoon. Ian Keatley from the touchline. Top marksman in the Pro 12 with 90%, but, well, for the second time this afternoon, he bounces it off and upright.
Well, he won't be too concerned about that. And outside of maybe missing 1 or 2 place kicks, he has played very well today, Ian Keatley.
2 and 5. You got them.
You know, you analyse this Munster performance 1 to 15. I mean, I think that every one of them has played extremely well. They have really bought into what that Munster jersey should mean, and they've answered a lot of critics out there.
James Corlin. All the breakaways for Munster
Always inside,
been up to the task so far this afternoon. They've been roaming wider out than perhaps normally we've seen them.
Turn offside, you call it.
Huge charge through from Cronje. Again, that red line just holding its strength, but illegally so, says the referee. Playing the advantage, and the bench is now being utilised. Bombo again wants to get it going. He doesn't like the cold weather, Sorelli Bombo.
He is an enormous man on Bombay, and the way he can move and the pace he goes at.
7 led the advance and he was offside.
And I mean, they really need to pick the pieces up here, because, you know, Munster have the tails up. Munster want more. They're enjoying this. The crowd are loving it. But Racing, as you rightly said, Simon, earlier in this match, a lot of these guys, with talk of new coaches coming in, they're fighting for their jobs, they're fighting for contract extensions. So it's very important for them that they need to try and stall this Munster onslaught.
There's Jackie Lorenzetti, the owner of Racing, spending an awful lot of money in getting them back into one of the forces of the top 14, competing, of course, with the likes of Clermont and Toulon, Toulouse. Lorenzetti, who owns one of the biggest estate agency businesses in Europe, has plenty of money to spend, upwards of 20 million euros, the Racing budget. And he wants to get the top names in there. Well, Racing having possession inside the Munster 22 for the first time in 58 minutes. That tells its own tale, I suspect.
It certainly does.
And he doesn't have to roll away.
Again, using that, holding them up in that type choke tackle from them all. And Donegal Ryan, another guy who's really, you know, one of the leaders of this squad now. Donegal Callan, of course, the two of them there in the second row, the two Donegals, and I think they've really led by example.
Yes, as much as we talk about the new faces, some of the, dare I say, older generation have had such an important influence, and those two Donegals, the double Ds, are really such an important facet of this Munster lineup. Again, it's just simmering. The forwards have been in each other's faces pretty much all the game. Ever since really that sending off of Antoine Batut after just 5 minutes. Lo Cicero, who I told you was such a sociable man, having a conversation with BJ Botha.
He's not the type of fella I'd like to get stuck in. This guy has Greco-Roman wrestling, I believe, was one of his fortes growing up. And he's, as far as I know, he achieved very big heights. I can't remember exactly what he did in it, but...
You never got into a ring with him, is that what you're trying to tell me?
I was injured that day.
Veteran Italian prop, 36 years of age now, but still going strong. It'll be a great day when he raises his metaphorical bat for the international century at some point, presumably during the course of the Six Nations. Corlin holds and waits for the whistle. Again, the forwards just discussing the technique of that scrum.
And Munster getting the benefit of the doubt there in that particular one. And the Munster scrum has done extremely well, and it deserves a lot of credit under Paul McCarthy. But you have such a good, I guess, menu of players now to choose from. You've obviously got Wian Dupree, who's on the bench as well. Lou said Kilcoyne has really made a great breakthrough this time. John Ryan on the bench, of course. Stephen Archer, who's injured, but then Sherry and Varley. So you've got two very good front rows there competing, and these guys would obviously be scrummaging against each other during the week, which you know, allows for the first team that goes out to be in a great condition to do damage to opposition.
Damien Varley.
Beyond 15.
Overthrows the line, and it's picked up by Matadingo. Matadingo, of course, formerly of Saracens and Montpellier. Two teams that definitely will be playing in the quarter-finals of this competition.
9 in away. It's the first time I've penalised.
So an hour gone, 5 tries in the bag, thanks mainly to that man, Simon Zevo.
Just come back and meet you.
There's the first score.
Thank you.
Then the beautiful little footwork, football skills that set up the second.
14,
And then
s'il vous plaît.
the finish that caused Thomond Park to erupt.
Sure, and I think the second try in particular was his best one, followed by that last one we saw there. The first one, he was practically over the line when he got it, but you know something, anybody who gets 3 tries in a game is a tremendous achievement, and doing it 2 seasons on the trot.
There's another exciting wing, and that's Benjamin Foll coming on for Janet onto the wing of Racing. Foll, like Luc de Calcon, not involved today, recalled for Philippe Saint-André's French squad during the week. Again, the left boot of Zevo finds the newly installed Benjamin Foll. Gaitan goes for a Gary Owen, I suppose we say in these parts, don't we? I'm not sure whether he realises the significance. Tommy O'Donnell strides away, up over halfway. O'Donnell backs himself, put to the floor, tries to get the offload in. It just not happened. But what a burst from Tommy O'Donnell. Suddenly opened his legs and was gone. Well, we talk about the balance of a back row. If your open side can attack like that, that is a great facet to have.
Well, we mentioned it earlier how well he's playing at the moment. This season in particular, his taking is right there. You see it. Look, we thought maybe around this stage he was going to get taken down, but all of a sudden there, he just steps out of one
13.
and very close to actually going all the way. Superb break by Tommy O'Donnell.
And the stats back up what has been a very good performance from the Munster Open side. Another man who's had a very good performance is leaving the park now. Keith Ells being replaced by that man, JJ Halloran.
Yeah, of course, JJ Hanrahan, you know, played in the Ireland Under-20 World Cup squad, doing extremely well.
One of the 3 nominations for the IRB Young Player of the Year. A big impact for Mark Ruddock's side. Now, in terms of keeping focus now, you know, we're into the final quarter of this game. The job's been done. Conor Murray just having another disagreement. That time with Karim Ghazal, and if you remember from the first round, they had a few contretemps. I think I seem to remember Murray pulling Ghazal back early on in the game, so there's a bit of a hangover from that first game at the Stade de France.
Certainly is, and Conor Murray has played extremely well, I think today and last week as well. But the important thing when you've got the nose in front in a game like this, you can't let bad habits creep in, and that's both attack and defence. We saw last week when Munster went to put the pressure on to get the bonus point. We were just seeing the...
Yeah, you see why Conor Murray got so angry. Ghazal just with a little... a bunny punch, really, wasn't it? Rabbit punch there.
Okay, but don't start running from
as I say, they had a bit of previous that was hanging over from the Stade de France game in round 1. Yeah, keeping the focus, Frankie, with the job done. They've now got to try and keep the tries coming if they possibly can to improve their lot, should it be needed.
Well, the problem is if you let bad habits creep in, you miss a few tackles, that augurs badly for future matches. So they need to be ruthless. They need to show that streak if they are to be involved in a quarter-final.
Ball whizzed out to the right-hand side. Halloran feeds on... Dougie Howlett, I beg your pardon, feeds on to Felix Jones. A little bit of indecision again from Gaitan. That's a good kick. Colin, like any good number 8 covering this. Donnacha O'Callaghan, possibly one of the tallest left wingers in the game. was slated to start for Munster in the British and Irish Cup yesterday against Plymouth Albion in Cork. So obviously called off when Ronan O'Gara's hearing decided that the great man was not going to be part of this setup, and Ian Keatley was going to be the #1 playmaker.
That was down in Cork Con in Cork on Friday evening. It was in difficult conditions. Munster had a very good win. It's a very good competition, that British and Irish Cup. There's fierce intensity. You know, a lot of these young players are learning an awful lot about how to win matches at that level.
Thomas Bianchin sorts out his line-out call, and Barkley tries to jink his way through the Munster line. A little increased urgency visible in the Racing players now. Dingo with nowhere to go past as the choke tackle comes in from Hanrahan and co. Barkley throws it out in the hope that it's going to be picked up. It is by Benjamin Fowle, but again the Racing attack missing the impact of the likes of Fabrice Estebanez and Henry Chavancy. Hernandez, of course, as well, being rested. Estebanez suspended for that incident with Dave Strattle last week in Nantes. Zazewski, of course, another missing factor. That's why Bianchin and Noiro have been doing hooking duties for Racing. Zazewski on a 10-day ban.
Well, the good thing about Racing is they did come here to play rugby. They didn't just fold. And I know the scoreline, you know, tells a different story, but at the same time, if you're down to 14 men from, you know, the 5th minute into a match, you know, what else can you expect? But, you know, you have to admire the way they have shown up today.
Van Imhoff, of course, another missing ingredient. Trying to score last week. The crowd here, the capacity crowd, 25,600, appreciating the efforts of their team in defence now.
There you see the last man up from that ruck again, James Collin. And he's a guy who really kind of broke onto the Munster scene quite relatively late. Got a chance, and he really has taken his chance. He has been, I'd say, arguably one of Munster's most consistent performances over the last couple of years.
A groin tear in September kept him out until the beginning of December, but man of the match against Saracens in round 3. Made his debut 6 years ago in that game against Leicester. Well, talking of Saracens, here's the update from Vicarage Road, 26-7 now. Saracens looking for a home quarter-final, though that really is a bit of a contradiction in terms, I think, this season for Saracens. But where it's going to be, we don't know, but at the moment they're pressing to overtake Ulster, but in 8th seed, there's the Munster name once again in the mix for the European quarter-finals. Have outdone Leinster this season. They've knocked the champions out of this competition before the knockout stages.
Yeah, it's outside, just remember.
Peter O'Mahony bidding farewell to this game, and another man who's really put everything on the line. Paddy Butler there, coming on to replace the Munster open side.
Well, Peter O'Mahony again, a young leader of this squad. Got man of the match last week, played a great game, but Paddy Butler has been very, very promising as well this year. He's taken his chances every time he's got it, so good to see the replacements getting an opportunity as well.
Murray's kick rebounds off the back of Barkley. Howlett rescues the ball, and suddenly the game opens up. Paddy Butler with his first touch of the game.
No ruck, no ruck.
And the Racing defensive line struggling to get back into any sort of shape. Zebo dancing his way out of a telephone box there, but making no headway, but the ball is still there for Howlett. The call is to kick it through. Donica Ryan made the call, gets the ball. Brought down by Dumoulin on the 22. Munster going to explore the possibilities down this 5-metre channel on the near side. Now they send it out t'other way. Hanrahan out to Casey Lalala. Zebo once again has the support of Damien Varley.
First one, lost forward. Lost forward and then
Fingers just not able to hold on to the ball on that occasion.
Well, like both Doug Howlett and Donegal Ryan over on this near side here showing brilliant awareness. Donegal Ryan calling to Doug Howlett. Howlett looking up, seeing it and putting a nice little ding through to allow them a little attack off the blind side that could have been a lot more promising. They could have got more out of it. And here you see it. The little chip, a different little chip through.
The news coming through from Vicarage Road that Charlie Hodgson has got that bonus point try for Saracens, so Ulster will be on their travels for the quarterfinals. Saracens will be hosting one of them. I said that table will continue to change this afternoon, and as much as we know Munster are now in the 8th seed, I think it bears repeating that could change on events at Welford Road.
Well, I can tell you 26,000 people here. Simon would be hoping that won't change. And at this stage, I believe most of Ireland would be 100% behind Munster. It tends to happen when, you know, Leinster having gone out at this stage. Most Leinster people will be hoping that there'll be an Irish team involved in that last 8. Obviously, Ulster already there.
You wonder whether Conor O'Shea will be happy as he's sitting watching this game to see the Munstermen visit the Twickenham Stoop. That's the way it's panning out at the moment. We shall see Felix Jones. Felix Jones actually reminds me of a young Conor O'Shea when he picks up speed. He's got a similar running gait. Good handling to get Casey Lalala away. The game beginning to break up, the gaps appearing on a more regular basis, but a little bit of blocking on that occasion is going to bring play back, I think. It was beginning to turn into exhibition rugby for the last 5 minutes.
Well, it was just a bit unlucky there from Munster point of view. Bit of crossing.
Clear out is good, moving on.
Well, Munster for so long interwoven into the European movement. There were doubts as to whether they were going to be able to continue this European campaign, but it's on track now. Bingo gets his team up into opposition territory. Good intensity from the Munster men. Still though, turnover ball. Reward for the commitment. Howlett again in at first receiver. Tries to get the guys out on that left channel. Again, it's Donegal O'Callaghan. How many times have we seen the big second rower cavorting down that channel?
Lash, hands away, Red!
Couple of players down on the park from a knock early on, but Racing continued to play. Sorelli Bombo appearing in midfield now. Orlandi tries to get the ball out to Busses, gets the ball back. Well, the Argentinian thinking about the 40-metre trot, decides against it. Cronje. It's been a difficult game for the Racing captain since the 5th minute.
This game really has broken up now, hasn't it? Every one of them out there, I can tell you, their lungs are absolutely burning out there. And the hands up over the heads, there's people getting cramps, there's people down injured. It's like a battlefield out there.
Okay, all nice and easy.
Frankie, in the bigger picture, how important is this victory now? I mean, we're seeing a glimpse of Munster's future.
Watch it stop.
You know, everybody questioned that winning mentality, should we say, particularly in this competition. What you've seen today, how important has that been as a page in Munster's history?
It sure is, and you know something, I mean, I think it's since '97, Munster have only lost twice at home in this competition. Once ever in Thomond Park, and it was in round 6 against Leicester. And you could argue at the time it was kind of set up for a loss because Munster had already qualified that same day. But, you know, they have taken a lot of criticism. Times have changed. economically times have changed. Commercially for Munster, this is massively, massively important. You know, everybody's looking for more sponsorship and they're looking for more of a bang to the buck. So this is a huge, huge plus for Munster to get the win today.
Well, the bench is being fully emptied. Billy Holland coming into the engine room. Billy Holland, of course, son of a former teammate of yours, Jerry, former international centre, I think team manager here for a while, wasn't he, for Munster?
Jerry Holland certainly was. Jerry was he was the first coach for Munster when I was here back in '96 for the first time, and he went on to manage Munster, and he was involved in the Ireland A team, and you know, very, very good ambassador for the game and for Munster.
Billy Holland, the only ever present in every matchday squad this season. There's John Ryan. Made his Premiership debut this season for London Irish against Gloucester back in September. Now making his Heineken Cup debut for Munster against Racing on what will be a triumphant day for all those wearing red this afternoon. Descamps takes quickly to get his backs into some sort of motion. Dumoulin sets it back for his scrum half. Tadingo trying to use that huge strength that he has to break the tackle. Racing trying to get some sort of feel-good out of this game now. The game has long since gone, really, but they've got Bordeaux-Bègles away next weekend in the top 14. And then have a visit from Clermont to look forward to after that. As I say, in 9th position in the top 14 now. They have to focus on getting a winning run into perspective, into momentum. There's Vian Dupré trying to replace Dave Coupon. And the crowd showing their appreciation of the efforts of the young Munster Academy product.
Okay, set, okay. Number 4.
5 minutes to go here at Thomond Park, but it's finished at Vicarage Road. 40 points to 7, Saracens the winners. They've won Pool 1. They're going to have that home quarter-final, as expected. No great surprise there.
He's coming with you now, okay.
Munster have done the job here. They think they're going to be in that mix as well. They've got to wait for another hour and a half to see what happens at Welford Road. But it's looking hopeful for the Munstermen again in Europe. Holland taps it back for Duncan Williams now on into scrum half. Keatley trying to find the line to come through. Casey Laulala finds a beautiful line to side through that blue line. And the quick ball is there for Munster, and they're looking for try number 6, but the referee's whistle says that pass went forward. And the ambition of Munster, which pleases this capacity crowd at Thomond Park, just coming undone with the direction of the final pass.
Well, they would love to see another try, wouldn't they? And you see over here, Doug Howlett and Billy Holland are roaring from it on this near side. They might have just missed the ball. You're moving back in now.
Good try scoring opportunity, but pass was forward. Offside.
I assume into the corner here. And this will give Munster one last opportunity to get one more try, which, oh, wouldn't the crowd love?
Well, most people would love, obviously. Not everybody inspired in this crowd, but I'm sure beneath it all, he's enjoying the performance and the scoreline. The break-up of that maul.
7 and 18.
It's an easy call for referee Wayne Barnes. Over-enthusiasm from the bench, understandably.
Well, yeah, just putting themselves in front of the ball carrier. There you see it, look, obstruction going in front. And just a minor mistake there. I don't think the Munster management will lose any sleep over.
I'll give you time 6, I would guess. I don't quite want.
Well, we're told that Racing have actually now gone down to 13 men because Massi Matadingo has been sent to the sin bin. Now, I'm not quite sure what that was for. I have to say I didn't notice it, but referee Wayne Barnes, who issued the red card after 5 minutes, has issued a yellow card to Racing inside the final 5 minutes. And they are going to have to do with 2 holes in their defensive line. There is Matadingo.
18.
Right, here's the clearance kick.
Line's yours, fellas, okay?
Let's just have a look and see what the miscreant did. It was a tip tackle, we think. Well,
no, I don't think that was a tip tackle. I think that was a tackle off the ball, but deserves probably deserves a sympathy. But there's no tip there. Please don't cite him.
Well, 20 teams, French teams, have played on Munster soil and lost. You can make it now 21. There's Johnny Ngovo off the bench to try and add his sizable bulk to the French cause, but really now there is nothing to really let the Parisians leave with a smile on their face. Time to think about the Heineken man of the match, Frankie. Who's in the frame?
Well, Simon, I thought Conor Murray had another fine game again today. Had a great game last week. Dave Kilcoyne was superb all round, good scrummaging, great breaks. But hey, the man of the match, there he is. 3 tries, my Heineken man of the match, Simon Zebo.
The hat-trick hero does it again. Deja vu from last season, a hat-trick and the man of the match against Northampton at Milton Keynes. Now the hat-trick and the man of the match against Racing at Thomond Park. An impact player, if ever there was one. And really just improving his credentials with every game that he plays. Into the final phases of this game. Barkley sidles his way through, pulled down just short of the posts. Descamps feeds it out, good tackling. Quick off the mark. Racing trying to force their case just to finish with a 5-pointer. Munster defiant, trying to make sure that their visitors never get over the try line, trying to bundle their way up.
No advantage.
The referee is going to go back for an offside call.
Wait, it's going to be a card, okay?
20, and we're going to see another
20,
yellow card.
2-0,
It's Paddy Butler.
2-0, 20.
Well, consistency from Wayne Barnes. Butler is going to leave the pitch slightly prematurely.
Played the man in the air and then offside.
Racing with what should be the last play of this match. Johnny Ngovo.
Look up. Use the line. Use the line. Use it.
And Mbombo in there, waiting for the ball. Feeds it out to his skipper, Cronje. Cronje reaches out, and I think he has got the ball down.
Well, that looks to me like that was a try. He did superbly well there. He was took the tackles, he was about 2 feet short and managed to reach out and get that ball down. We'll have a look at it here, but just from where I was standing, Cronje, who is a superb ball carrier, here you see him fall. Oh, is that short?
Oh, I need to see it on another angle, wouldn't you? It's a matter of how they've cut the grass this afternoon. I think that's a try. And I think they can afford to probably give it to their visitors as a goodwill gesture. David Grassoff in the truck, just weighing up the options.
So if you need this stage, no try. Yes. Thank you.
And the call is?
Okay, so it was short of the line and then he double movement.
It's short of the line and a double movement, so listen to this cheer.
Well, you could even see the way Wayne Barnes said it. He was nearly apologetic about it. But, you know, you got to go by the letter of the law. And that was the danger. Was it a double movement?
Yes, you can.
And that's the benefit of having the TMO.
So Ian Keatley sends it downtown. And Thomond Park blushes at the final whistle, not with embarrassment, but with elation. A big day in Munster's history, Frankie. How important is this win now?
Well, these players needed it, the management needed it, the supporters needed it, and this ground needed it. And this is a tremendous win for this Munster team. People spoke about them being in transition, but you know what? Even if they go no further, this Munster team has got to the last 8 of this Heineken Cup, and they have done superbly well. Think about when they do play if they do to the quarter-finals, and they have Paul O'Connell back, they have Ronan O'Gara back. Anything is possible with this Munster team. So great display by Munster.
And anything is certainly possible with that man Simon Zebo in the lineup. A hat-trick hero once again. Well, Munster are going to write another entry into the European log. There's the final table in Pool 1. 20 points, 14 tries. It means that Munster are going to be looking at destination Dublin. The doubters have been dispelled. It's still a potential journey this season as Munster fortify their European credentials. At the moment, it's going to be a Heineken Cup quarter-final. They're going to have to wait to see the outcome of Welford Road. But elation around Thomond Park. They've done it. They've won 29-6 with all the points they required this afternoon.